Hey, how's everybody doing today? It's Shay. Hey, I just wanted to share something with you all. I don't like when things get perverted out of context. It drives me nuts because then everything that follows it is totally wonky. So I wanted to read something. I have my other phone here. I had to jerry-rig this whole thing to get my old phone up so I could do this and still read this. And I wanted to share something with you that I think a lot of people share the same sentiment, and it's just whacked out, in my opinion, based in proof decades long and knowing the opposite to be true. So I wanted to share something with you that you may resonate with and you may completely disagree like I do, and I had a response. So I'm actually going to I'm going to read what I wrote along with what I'm responding to, so you get an idea of context. So on a particular health forum, there's a woman who is talking about what this person is suffering from, and this woman's response just like threw me because it's so defeatist, and I think it's based in fear, it's based in confusion, it's based in, again, perversion of the truth. And so for all those reasons, I just just my sense of truth, speaking the truth, came through. So this was a comment in response to someone else's post about having to deal with an issue, and this woman named Amanda actually responded this way. She said, yes, that's why some of us end up with trauma, diseases, had horrible accidents, came back from it, lived through the pain, daily pain. We're only getting a minuscule amount compared by Jesus Christ. Okay, that's a perspective. But again, to me, that's very defeatist. And so my response was in capital letters, incorrect. That's a lie of the enemy, that you must suffer here, and I banish it forever in Jesus' name. Those are distractions to keep you from hearing clearly and saying yes to Yeshua's voice, Yahushua's voice, and purpose for your life in this, or your lifestyle mission. Too many people conflate true godly guidance with voices of minions, demons, and the enemy itself. You are not here to suffer. You are here to love and be loved, to be raised through enlightenment to peace and joy. You are here to accomplish your godly purpose mission, for which he will surely assist you to succeed. The pain of this world is an alarm bell from being out of alignment with Yahushua, allowing the enemy to direct and lead, caught in confusion. How do I know? I have healed people in Jesus' name because of our Heavenly Father's gift to me to serve others by removing confusion, strongholds, generational curses, and seeing diseases and tumors disappear. Inflammation, weight, melt away. No need for meds, insulin, surgeries, or transplants. It's quite simple. So what I mean by that is we are here for a bigger mission than what the world can hold. And unfortunately, we have to conform to the world, navigating this world in order to go through the journey and to follow our purpose, which is to serve others in a uniquely structured way, the way that we're gifted. Each one of us has a different mission. Each one of us has different strengths and weaknesses. Each one of us is going to go through different challenges that are going to refine our strengths, our clarity to know why we're here. And it's, the journey. We all reflect off each other. We respond off each other. We have to decide what is worthy of our attention while we're on our journey. But what bothers me is when someone believes this whole thing about suffering. We're not here to suffer. We're not here to struggle. Will we? Yes. Is it God's mission? No. We're here to succeed under him. But we have to go through the fire. We have to be sharpened. We have to figure out, what, again, is worthy of our attention. So we're going to go through things, but we're not here meant to be stuck in that, right? So I think when people are caught in that, I'm a martyr kind of thing, they're trying to, give an answer to a question when that is not the answer. The answer is love and peace and joy, is positivity, is looking to our Heavenly Father and recognizing, what's happening, getting, the clarity that we need, and being able to move forward according to His directives, His ways, how He, tells us to move, the next place we should put our next footstep. And I think, we need to kind of flip the script, because for the last century, basically that's been it, hellfire and brimstone, and we're all sinners and this is horrible, and, life sucks, and then you go to heaven and everything's great. But why not now? Like, why not live heaven now? So in, I think it's Matthew 14:12. Pardon me for misquoting that. I believe it's Matthew 14:12. Jesus makes a statement that we will do works far beyond Him, far greater than He, for those who believe and follow in God. So why are we not claiming that? Why are we not living in that? Why are we not celebrating that? So how I take that is, He has created a space for us by His sacrifice in His life and His life's example. He has created a space for us so that we have a territory to roam in without worry of, persecution and death. Not without, it's not going to be without challenges, but the point is that we have a hedge of protection around us. We have a safety net. We have, the guidance from above, and He's already shown us all of that. So why are we living in misery, as in way behind Him, instead of taking the baton that He gave us and moving forward in that knowledge and wisdom, the territory claimed, the provisions that are made for us, and getting further afield than He did. Again, not taking His place, but taking the baton and moving forward and gathering disciples and connecting to each other and being a godly example as much as we can, depending on where you are in your life, and moving forward together with other people, creating harmony, creating synergy, iron sharpens iron, helping someone who has, is a step behind you or has fallen, somebody that, you could easily step in and help. And I believe that there's a truth that I've been living anyway, is that we are all here to witness each other. We're all here to, affirm, motivate, inspire, each other to transformation, to enlightenment. Again, the state that Jesus achieved, despite what the world was doing, that's the example we're supposed to raise up to, and then take what He's given us so far and run with that. So there's a lot of people that, just kind of succumb to, I'm here, I'm stuck, this is it. But we're all here for each other, to help each other. And so one of the things I truly believe is that we're here to experience. And a lot of times we're here to witness things in the context of, what are you going to do if you see someone fall? What are you going to do if you see someone stepping in the wrong direction? What are you going to do if someone is setting up a negative scenario, gossiping or trying to tear someone down or create a problem for somebody that isn't of their own making? We all deal with passive aggressive narcissists. So they have a tendency to, their penchant is to upset others. So what are you going to do in a circumstance like that? Are you going to step forth and say something? Are you going to defend someone? Are you going to reveal the truth? Somebody has an accident. Are you going to witness to who caused it? Or are you just going to walk away? And I firmly believe that if you walk away, for starters, no one's going to stand up for you. That's a given. But I also think that you're going to have to recompense to your Heavenly Father why you did not stand up for your brother or your sister in that circumstance when you could. And we're all in a rush. We're all doing things. We all have excuses. Why not? But one thing I've learned in this life is it doesn't matter what the limits of the world are. When you say yes to Him, everything will fall in its place. So if you don't think you have enough time to do something, say yes anyway. If you don't think you have enough funds to accomplish a mission, say yes to him anyway, because those are simple matters for him to provide. He just wants to know if your heart's willing. He wants to know if your spirit is in alignment. He wants to know if you're going to say yes and go to him. Because who's your master? Time, money, things, stuff, crazy people. You know, sometimes we let those things get in the way. You only can have one master. Otherwise, you're dazed and confused, trying to go back and forth and justify and figure out what is the truth between the two. There's only one truth. There's only one light. There's only one way. There's only one life. So if you're 100% in and you say yes, I guarantee you there are miracles to be had. I guarantee you that. My life is a living testimony to miracles happening, the 11th hour, something coming through, when all else seems absolutely impossible. And I could tell you stories for ages, which I won't do right now. That's for another time. But my message to you is you have to manifest love. You have to be love. You have to accept love. You have to be in that state. I just saw a video about gratitude, and that it's not just a thank you. It's an actual resonance of energy that you understand that you're grateful for that circumstance and everything that's come before it and who you are right now. That gratefulness is an energy, a complete energy. And so when you're in that state of gratefulness, you're tapping into other positive levels of energy. Again, where joy and peace are, it's above your head, so high you can't touch it. Okay, love is up there. And the pinnacle is enlightenment, is having an open dialogue with God, with Yeshua, you know, your higher power, is having that bond so close that nothing else matters, and having open communication. So when you ask a question, you get an answer. It stumps me when people always say, you know, God's a mystery. Not really. Not if you're plugged in. You know, we never know why God's doing these things. My first thought is, why don't you just ask him? And guess what? If you're plugged in, you'll get the answer. If you're not, you still got to work on that. But you will get an answer. You know, I've been literally plugged in my whole life. I don't have that sob story where, you know, I fell off the wagon and something happened. I had to, you know, try to find him. He was always in my life. And it's not to say I don't have trials and tribulations. God knows. And some things I purposely put myself into just to learn. Certain safe circumstances. But I've had my fair share of, well, let's just say interesting people in my vicinity. You know, and he's kept me safe. It was more of a learning experience than anything else, for which I took a lot of notes. And so I've become kind of an expert on, you know, how to get yourself out of a negative situation. You know, what do you focus on? It's a simple formula, really. It's like, what is important to you? What do you focus on? You know, it needs to be him. And when that is, and your purpose is revealed to you, and you don't do anything else but that, you know, your reason for being here is to serve certain other people in your own gifted way. And if you channel your energy to that, the other stuff, like distractions, aren't as enticing because you know it's a dead end street. So you're going to focus on, you know, what's going to be fruitful, what's going to be beneficial. Because once you get the taste of peace and joy in that loving state, and you know where it's coming from, nothing else on the earth compares to that. So it's so very easy to say, nope, doesn't fall in my wheelhouse. It's not for me. Nope, no thank you. And so you can fine tune your energy, fine tune your focus. You fine tune literally everything you do to that particular purpose. So, you know, the trick in the journey, the key really is understanding that everything that you have been given in here, the desires of your heart, are for you. If you pursue him, then these will manifest. These will become reality. and they'll be more of a blessing because they're from him, not from you directly pursuing something. So there's a lot of stuff I like to help people to understand and make life simple. You know, everything about me, simple, natural, efficient, and effective. That basically sums me up with everything. And I have so much fun with what I do. I want to help enlighten people so that they can then make those simple decisions for themselves. I'm working on a couple of revamps of programs that I was doing, workshops that I was doing. The one main one right now that I'm launching is Health Burst, and that's a cellular cleanse. What that basically does is get rid of internal toxins, things that don't allow your body to function the way God made it function, meant it to function. And so when we're distracted by things that don't work, you know, that becomes the focus, the target. So when you're ill, you have disease, you're overweight, you're not feeling well, you don't have enough energy, you're not sleeping well, your immune system gets overloaded, and then all of a sudden you're plagued by all these little things, big things, and stuff that become chronic. My mission is to help people cleanse your vehicle so then you can put the right gas in it and just go. So I'm starting with Health Burst as a cellular cleanse, and this has had the most amazing results, blown my mind, to be honest with you, because this started as a weight loss program. I literally asked for directions, a recipe for myself, because I had gained weight. I thought I was eating healthy, working crazy hours, and some of that stress had a lot to do with my metabolism slowing down. Plus, I got a really deep lesson in what is healthy food truly, and what is disguised as, you know, food like substance disguised as food, when it really isn't going to benefit your body. So did a deep dive, went down a rabbit hole with that, learned a lot of information that I have to share freely. And I, you know, started sharing this weight loss thing because I lost 37 pounds in 13 weeks. And I really wasn't doing anything else different. So it just astounded me that I was able to accomplish this in a busy schedule. It takes me 5 minutes to prepare, and quite tasty, and kept me full into the afternoon. So, you know, things just melted off, literally. I found myself having to notch my belt so tightly. I mean, I was, I guess, across 4 inches in short order, and probably in about, I want to say about 4 weeks, 4 inches gone. And, you know, just wowed me. Had to go to Goodwill and get some, you know, in-between clothes, some inexpensive jean shorts. And, you know, it just kind of became a joke. You know, I was melting away. But there's a stop point. Like, your body won't go beyond what is natural for you to be at your normal BMI. So I started sharing this with other people, and the people that had other health issues, they saw such profound changes in their body. So it's, I mean, it just reinforced how powerful something so simple can be. You know, it's kind of like the two opposites come together. Helping someone lose a chronic issue that they suffered for 44 years with. You know, one of my clients had diabetes, type 1 and 2. And this is all he knew his whole entire life. So he had it since he was a late teen, early 20s. And to see his face when his doctor had said that he no longer had to take insulin because his body was now functioning, his pancreas was working, the relief that he had on his face was just so life-giving to me. It was like the most cathartic, euphoric, epiphanic moment ever in the history of ever. And knowing that he now has this freedom, you know, it was a little trial period at the beginning, but he's now 5 years out of insulin. And here's the fun part. He also started this to lose weight, and he lost 24 pounds in 6 weeks sitting on the couch. He was one of those stubborn curmudgeons. He's one of my poster children because he was such a hard one to work with, that he was like, I'm not exercising. I'm not doing anything. You know, I basically go from my bedroom to the bathroom to the kitchen to the couch, back and forth, and then go to bed, and that's it. Okay, I'm not exercising. I said, okay. He said, not going to yell at me? No. Why not? I said, because you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So you want more, you do more. And it was simply that. So in short order, he ended up going out in his yard and doing 4 hours worth of maintenance that he hadn't wanted to do in 10 years, literally 10 years. So he was lit on fire, and it's changed his life profoundly. He had lost his wife. He is now dating someone, and he's just got a new lease on life. So he lost 55 pounds in 15 weeks in total. He went back to his high school weight. Feels like a rock star. I have someone who had a tumor and was literally scared to death because this thing was, 11 inches by 3.5 inches. It was this big in their stomach, and they could barely eat 2 bites of food, used to eating a full steak and could eat 2 bites. That's quite a change. And so when the doctor did an exam and found this thing, said, oh my God, like, why did you wait so long? Most people find these things and they're tiny, like the size of your thumbnail or the size of your thumb. And so surgery was scheduled. But because it was during COVID, they had to wait 5 weeks in order to get in. And of course, there's in that time period some changes that could happen. So when they were brought in for surgery, the doctor looked at them through the laparoscope before they opened them up to see if there were any surprises. And so he had almost a heart attack because he thought they had the wrong patient. Went to the chart, asked the nurses, what's going on? Do we have the right person here? Yes, this is the right person. And then he was astounded because what does he do now? So he called another room of surgeons over and went on the PDR, which is the global connection of doctors, it's a physician's desk reference, or now called the physician's digital reference. And he got no response in kind to what he was seeing. No one had experienced this before. So he brought my client out of anesthesia and told him, hey, we can't operate. And this person was freaking out because they're thinking, oh my God, like panic went through their mind. Am I dying? Do I have cancer? What's going on? And the doctor was sitting there with this smirk like, we can't operate. And my client's going, why are you smirking? Like, why are you smiling? And so the doctor said, because I'm witnessing a miracle. He said, I could get fired for this, but he said, there's no way to explain this under the practice of medicine. He said, and over 400 years worth of expertise just chimed in and said they've not seen this before. So he said, there's only one answer to this, and that's you got someone watching out for you because that tumor disappeared. So there is no reason for me to operate. You can get dressed and go home. And whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because this might keep you from having recurrent tumors. So what was he doing? My program, Health Burst. So these are the things that told me that this is bigger than I thought. And when I have case after case and client after client having major breakthrough, even though they might be coming for weight loss, and I'm starting to see these different diseases, kidney dysfunction, where they were sent away from getting dialysis and taken off the transplant list because their kidney function increased 25%, which was out of danger. And it continued to increase and improve from there. But most doctors will tell you that once your kidneys are dysfunctional, there's no relief. There's no reversing that. Yeah, there is. So I'm happy to report all of these things that were an absolute surprise to me have been enduring and long-term for the clients that have gone through Health Burst methodology. So there are people who have asthma, life-threatening asthma, that I've actually been treating for decades. That particular issue, because I cured myself when I was 14. And so there were different things that, I was learning as I was going through, but that has helped so many people. This now is also helping with that. And shingles, burning shingles, and seeing someone get relief from that is very peace-giving for me. Then to see people that have debilitating migraines. This is a common thing. People have headaches all the time. And people that have major migraines whose life is stopped and they can't do anything. They have to sit in a dark room for days. You can't have a normal life. You can't have a normal work schedule. with that. Although with, working at home, that can help a little bit, but you're so useless, you can't do anything. The nausea that you feel also from that is absolutely horrible. It's otherworldly to have to live like that. So being able to help people. In fact, I had a young client who was in her 20s, and she was going for my marine biology. She had to be fit. She was overweight. She didn't feel well. So she came to me so that she could get her system back in working order and regain endurance, stamina. And so she actually hadn't disclosed to me that she had migraines. I guess it was just something that she was used to, since she was in her teens. And so, she was focused on the weight loss. So in our second session, our weekly session, she said, you know what, I just realized something. I haven't had a migraine in 2 weeks since I started this. She said, I normally would have had it by now because it was monthly. And so she said, I didn't experience it. And she said, I'm so busy that I wasn't even thinking about it. I've got so much to do that I really need to have all of my energy working towards me with all the studies and then the physical tests, studying things underwater, that sort of thing. So there's a high demand on her. And normally that would have even triggered something, but she said, I haven't had a single migraine. So as it went out, she continued not to suffer from migraines, and she was able to, keep up with her studies, where that would have taken her out of commission for at least 4 or 5 days in the month. So she was greatly relieved by that. And so it's nice for me to be able to hear people having, these breakthroughs and being free. I mean, that's what the whole thing is. Free to say yes to God, free to say yes to what your mission is, free to say yes to the joy that's awaiting you when you're healthy. So I am going to be doing a chat kind of like this. I'm going to try to figure it out where I can receive questions from you all. So if you want to join me 1:00 on Tuesday. Tuesday is my mother's birthday, which is coincidental, but it seems to be fitting. And this is, the norm of my life is that things just coordinate on their own. So I am going to be celebrating my mother's legacy, so to speak, in that she was a very loving person. She loved to teach people things. She was always standing in the gap for somebody, especially young mothers, single mothers. So she had her own, her own ministry. And so, she was an example for me, a godly woman, very devout, very determined and focused. And so I want to celebrate her legacy by sharing a bit of her through me to you all. So 1:00 on Tuesday, it's basically going to be introduction to some information that I think everybody really needs to know about themselves, about the system, why people are not getting healed, why there's chronic illness, how to literally sidestep that and then go on with your life mission and, understand and be able to make more discerning decisions moving forward. Once you know the game plan, once you understand what's working against you, then you can learn to create tactics and strategies to upset the plan and to be able to still navigate and do what you're meant to do. Learned a lot of things from The Art of War and a bunch of other different books that, especially the Bible, of course, but, Purpose-Driven Life and things like that, where you really need to concentrate all your energies and deflect, so you're playing offense and defense at the same time. And that's the way you have to navigate. It's not, you're going to have a path paved in gold once you're focusing on God and there's nothing going to happen. No, you're going to have sometimes even more of a bit of conflicts or challenges in front of you, but at least you have the tools, you have the equipment, you have the provider, and the path has been set for you to succeed. So all you have to do is stick to it, and then you're going to get there and have fun while you're doing it. That's the whole thing. People are so miserable, and I'm like, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. It's again, that simple. Everything I do is pretty simple, and yet I'm a very profound thinker, and I love people to, think about the layers of things. So I love to provoke people into why and what's and, you know, when's and for who and all that sort of thing. So join me on Tuesday. It's just going to be a conversation. I'm going to be taking questions, also giving information. So hopefully I will see you then. Share this with someone that you know needs to hear it. A lot of people don't share what troubles them, and they don't get clarity then. And so, you know, instead of having people burdened and lost, I would like to enlighten people and have them thinking and making decisions for themselves so that they can follow their infinite life journey. So I bless you guys with a wonderful, happy rest of your day. Peace be upon you and joy. And I hope you have a fun weekend. I know this is Labor Day weekend. It's Saturday today. We have a nice, you know, extra Monday to celebrate family and life, and of course all the provisions that God gives to us. So I hope that you are in a grateful state and you receive blessings this weekend. I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. So as usual, go spread your sunshine. Have fun.